Hello everyone, welcome to yet another Dark Souls series. Surprise, surprise, right? In all honesty, I've been promising you guys this for a while. I finally got around to doing it. Couldn't come up with a cool name for it, so I decided just to call it the Expert's Guide. As in, I'm the expert and I'll be your guide. No, seriously, that was really cheesy. But honestly, I couldn't come up with a cool name for it, so Expert Guide kind of just seems simple enough. Today we're going to talk about shortcuts. Before I go a little bit more into that, I'll talk about the series in general. Basically, there's a lot of things I've been wanting to show you guys. I just haven't had the time to do it because a playthrough is a huge time investment, and I just can't really, I don't have the free form to just do anything I want. So instead of trying to do that anymore, I'm just going to make videos on stuff that I kind of like doing, or things that I think you guys will find interesting. So as I said, today is about shortcuts. Different kind of shortcuts in this game. I'll be focusing specifically on what I'll call a sequence breaking shortcut. Generally something not intended by the developer that you can use to access areas you're not supposed to be in yet, or simply get through a level much, much faster. The first shortcut is not really a series breaking shortcut, but I figure you guys think it's cool. This little flip right here, save you a few seconds if you're on a speed run. You do need to use the Darkwood Grain Ring for that, at least to do with any consistency. I pulled it off with a jump before, but it's kind of tough. This is a shortcut as well. It's a little bit of an unorthodox shortcut, as I'm not really jumping anywhere. I'm just shooting inward with a bow. The cool part about this is that I'm not aggroing any ghosts from the house or the area behind me. If you notice where I stood about 4 steps down, it seems to be kind of a non-aggro area, and allows you to pretty much pick off inward at your leisure. I'm actually only using a +5 longbow here, but since I have 40 dex, it's still doing quite a bit of damage. And as you can see, the trick to make that work is that the key to the seal is an auto-loot item, meaning you don't actually have to go up to Ingward's body. So you completely get to bypass that ghost house, having to go up the ladder and deal with 12 very, very angry ghosts. The coolest part about that trick is you don't have to have a strong character. You can do a level 4 starting hunter with just a short bow and the 30 arrows that he has, and actually pull that off. I did that 2 days ago just to test it, and it actually worked. You have to be careful. You have to make sure you hit Ingward in the head most of the time to do the most damage, but I had 5 arrows left when I did it. This last shortcut right here, you guys have probably seen me do this on my other videos, assuming you've seen them. It's just a quick way to get to Four Kings, bypassing the entire Darkwraith area. You can do that from the method that I just showed you, or you can actually go from the Darkroot Basin Cave. So, Undeadburg has 2 shortcuts in it. First one is a major shortcut that leads you to the lower Undeadburg. The second one is a really simple one, but I decided to show it anyway because I wanted to be thorough. So this first one, it allows you to get into the lower Undeadburg without having to go to the parish or have to worry about getting the basement key and going to the Hellkite Bridge. It's one of those I was talking about that's basically an early access. It's not really hard to do. It's actually one of the easier ones. However, if you're not prepared, getting into the lower Undeadburg with a weak character could be pretty deadly. However, the good thing is it gets you to the female undead merchant really, really quick. So I'm going to slow this down after the first jump so you can see the timing and the angle you have to get at. Like I said, not very difficult. I would suggest not using the Darkwood Grain Ring. It makes it more difficult. And the second jump, just make sure you're running before you turn and jump off, or you're just going to fall down. So this one is not a secret shortcut. It's pretty obvious, but it's deceptively hard. There's like an invisible wall right there. You have to get the angle just right. And part 2 of the jump is you have to be ready to take on an angry Black Knight. So the depths have a couple of shortcuts in it. Basically, 2 out of the 3 are developer intended. This first one I'm going to show you right here is something I came up with. I mean, it's just a little shortcut. I just think it's kind of got a lot of style with it. Jump over the rail, do a plunging attack on the butcher, and then drop right down. You'll notice I have the Ring of Fog on. It's definitely not required. I just did it because I wanted to bust through this level as quick as possible. to show you just how fast you can get through it. A lot of people don't like the depths. They just want to get through here to get to Domhall, or basically just get the Blighttown key. So the purpose for showing this clip right here was just to show you that in less than a minute you can enter the depths and actually be at the boss fog. Darkroot Garden has 2 shortcuts in it, neither of which are actually useful to you during a normal playthrough, but they can be useful in PvP, so I'm going to go ahead and show you those. The first one allows you to access Darkroot Basin from jumping off this cliff right here. The only negative part about that is you can't get back up once you do because you're blocked by a fog gate. However, if you want to use that to your advantage, or you want to troll some invaders or the invadee, then be my guest. The second one right here, it's actually a small one, but it's kind of cool. I actually did it a lot as a forest hunter. I used to get 2 or 3 people to chase me. I'd actually make them think I was running for them because I was scared or something. They'd all be right behind me, and I would jump over here and jump off this ledge. And the stupid ones would attempt to follow me and not usually make it. So you can have a little bit of fun with that one too. No self-respecting Dark Souls shortcut video would be complete without showing the catacombs. Seriously, out of all the shortcut videos that have lingered on YouTube for a while now, the catacombs is by far the most shown one that I've seen. There's at least a dozen of them running around. But since I'm making a video specifically about shortcuts, I couldn't really leave it out. Anyway, that first jump is the first step to get to Pinwheel. If you go down that hallway right there, it leads you to Gravelord Nito's coffin that gets you into the Gravelord Covenant. One more jump down, and you're pretty much at the boss fog. All in under a minute flat. Since Fortress only has one real major shortcut in it, it's kind of an unorthodox one, similar to the Ingward shortcut, in that you don't actually jump or fall or roll through anything to get to it. Essentially, you're basically letting a Snake Man break a wall for you. It's only half useful if you don't have the Master Key, since it essentially gives you early access into the area where Big Hat Logan is in a cell, and there's also a Soul of a Hero there. If you're wondering why I showed that entire entry sequence, it's because I actually had a pretty good run there, and I thought I'd show off a little bit. So what you're going to want to do is switch over to your hand. You don't actually want to kill this guy. You just want to piss him off. Put your shield up and put your back against the wall. He'll take a few swipes at you, and eventually he's going to hit the wall as he hits you, breaking it down as you just saw. So as I said, if you don't have the Master Key, you can't actually free Logan yet, but you still can come in here and get the Soul of a Hero. And don't forget about the Snake Man that followed you through. Anor Londo has one major shortcut in it. I think anyone who's a veteran player has probably seen or heard of it before. Essentially lets you jump off the staircase and allows you to get almost directly to Ornstein and Smough by basically skipping the entire upper section, including the roof and most of the Silver Knights. If you're struggling with a shortcut, you probably want to take out that first Silver Knight, because he'll follow you up the stairs if you don't. If you're struggling with the timing, I'm going to show it in slow motion here. Basically, you just want to make sure you're running and jump high enough on the stairs so that you clear that rail. Painted World of Ariamis actually has 3 shortcuts in it. When used together, you can get through the level in record time and bypass a lot of unneeded stuff. The first one right here is simply running off this rail and jumping, which puts you right near the doors that you can unlock and gain access back to the bonfire. There's another method that involves going up on the roof 2 levels higher, but it makes you run by more enemies and you take more damage jumping off, so I find it kind of pointless. The method I just showed you is the fastest way I was able to come up with. The next shortcut isn't much farther away than the first one. Basically, it's a huge shortcut. It allows you to enter the annex area without having to go into the cellar and deal with the pain in the ass of Bone Wheel skeletons. You can do a running jump, or you can use the Darkwood Grain Ring and flip over to it. I prefer the running jump because you don't have to stop and kill the enemies. You can just do it like I just did. If you want to use the Darkwood Grain Ring, you probably have to kill a couple enemies first to get the right angle. So this third shortcut is by far probably the biggest one in the whole level. Basically, if you just want to get the hell out of this level ASAP, you can run right from the beginning where you start, come in here, fight the undead dragon, and then just do a jumping attack on his legs. When you drop down, you'll notice the boss fog is right there. So I've saved the best for last. The biggest, baddest shortcut in the game by far is the Duke's Archives elevator shortcut. It's special in that it basically bypasses the only time in the game that you have to die. The only problem with it is extremely difficult to do. It's a two-part shortcut. The first part involves you rolling off onto a moving elevator and landing on the railing. The second part involves rolling off that railing onto a very specific area that also has a rail. If you screw it up, you'll probably end up dying. But if you get it just right, you'll be amazed at how much time it can actually save you. I went ahead and slowed it down to show you exactly when you need to jump and where you need to land. So basically, that allows you to skip through 3 parts of Duke's Archives, essentially making it a very short level. You skip the entire first Seath encounter, including the death. You skip through the entire jail area, dealing with the Picasas and the annoying siren. And you also skip the final part of the archives where you have to rotate the staircases. So all in all, you save yourself 5, 10, 15 minutes depending on how fast you move through the areas. So with that said, we're wrapping up our first video of the new series here. If you guys like the new format, let me know. I definitely have a few more videos planned for the future. So stay tuned, and until next time.